So welcome. I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation, Real People, Real Conversations. And Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation, Real People. Okay, there's a little delay with Facebook there. So I'm Bart Rademaker, or Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation, Real People, Real Conversations. Very delighted today to be talking to Paolo Fernandez. We had this thing that we were supposed to do yesterday, and fortunately, we are able to do it today. So as I'm getting set up here on Facebook Live, just give me 1 second and to finish the, complete the, all the connections here. Takes a little time. All right. We got it. So anyhow, now that everything is properly connected on Facebook, 2 Facebook pages, and Paolo, if you want to share it through Facebook on your page, you can do that. And then we're also broadcasting live on YouTube using Crowdcast. It's a way to simulcast and on different platforms. So anyhow, once again, I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation, Real People, Real Conversations, and real success. And the people that I bring together on this platform are very special people, because these are the people in the world that are making a difference. They're making a difference for you. And in particular today, if we think about our own personal health, it's one of the parts, one of the resources that most people do forget to think about. But those that actually do start paying attention to that part of their life, it's interesting to note that it's also very fragmented and disconnected with all the parts. And being a physician for the last, 40 years now, almost, no, a little less than that, 30 years, I've had the blessing and the benefit of being able to bring in a more of a wholesome or holistic approach to what it is that I do. And it's that understanding that looking at all the individual parts, you know, the sum of all that is greater than the individual parts in of itself. And that's so true with our body. And so I'm excited today to be talking to a phenomenal individual who's got a very expansive experience throughout time, both as a Navy SEAL and then in business and then in the medical field, in a sense, not as a physician, which is sometimes an advantage, because then you're able to partake in things that are contrary to medical think. And I think that's important for us today to appreciate what's outside of that medical think, because there are so many solutions like Paolo can bring to you that will make a huge difference. So Paolo, thank you so much. And you're from, we're talking to you from Portugal.
Thank you, Bart. I'm really excited to participate in this interview. It's been, like you said, a quest for health and for longevity. Again, like we already spoke, it's really the main objective is to bring people, I think, a simple idea of health and how they can improve their longevity, basically.
So you have a lot of credentials, and not only credentials, but a lot of credibility in your background. So share with the listeners a little bit briefly about how you started at the age of 19 as a Navy SEAL and what happened from there on.
Yeah, I think I was in Portugal and I was 19 and I made the decision to go to the Navy, which was a very harsh decision, even for my fathers, because I was supposed to go to the university. But I decided to go, you know, it's adventure. And it was probably the thing that founded me in terms of core principles, the need to be there for others, the need to help even animals, because I was in the Navy SEALs. It was not only the Bin Laden operations. I was at 19 sometimes saving animals in the floods in Portugal. So you develop a real sense of community, of helping the other. But I was already, since I was 10, I was already a competitive swimmer. My father almost died when I was 10. It was a miracle. He didn't know how to swim, and he was flooded into the ocean, and he was saved. He stayed 3 days in the hospital. So as soon as he recovered, he put me and my sister on swimming lessons and swimming competition. And I trained, I think, 10 years, hard competitive swimming, morning and evenings. And that thing gave me, again, a lot of suffering, but again, a really strong foundation. So my back, I never had problems in my back. When I was in the Navy SEALs, I was an officer. I had guys with 20 years old. I was 25. After 1 year, everybody has sciatica, problems in their back. I never had. So that thing really, the importance of exercise, the importance of eating well, the importance of even eating from nature, because sometimes we were collecting the things we found in nature, the organic fruits that had a terrible aspect, right? So it gave me a real great foundation. So in the Navy, when I left the Navy SEALs, I was the school director of the main sports Navy school, and I was training PT, personal trainers that were supposed to train others. And I also learned a lot when I was there. It's not only teaching people the principles of exercise and other type of sports things, I was also learning massage, because in the Navy, the main injuries were sports injuries, like knees, and I learned over there a type of massage that I don't find it so much in the US. And I think that's why in the USA I started to become known. It's the manual lymphatic massage, the Voder method from Dr. Voder from Denmark. I don't know if you know the story of Dr. Voder. He was a Danish that at the time in the 1800s, he went to Paris because he was saving people with cancer with this type of massage, a daily massage. So he lived until 100 or 90 something, and his wife also lived, and they were doing massage to each other. I'm just doing massage to others. I don't have a lymphatic massage. But the lymphatic system is actually the sewage of our body, and we need to drain it. And the manual going to following the road of the lymphatic system and lymphatic nodes, it's really important to pressure them and drain. And so I was in the Navy. I was learning that. I learned it for 3 years in terms of massage. Imagine an officer doing massage to the guys. But I liked it, I felt the difference, a swollen knee. You are there just draining the swollen area, and it felt good. But I was also learning other stuff. I started learning business. I started studying at night, and I became an executive, and I left the Navy, which was, again, a very non-thinking decision, because you leave something that you are already in the ranks, right? And you leave the Navy. And the next 10 years, I was really miserable because I was really traveling all over the world, but again, on a very stressful environment, long meetings, very harsh decisions to be made, harsh negotiations. But again, also gave me that capacity to travel all over the place. That's what I do now. I do conferences and consultations. And then when the big crisis came to America and to Europe, I was fired from one day to the other. And I think we spoke about this. It was probably the best day of my life. My daughters and my marriage with my wife were the best, but this was one of the best because I didn't like what I was doing. And the next day I was traveling to London and I was training in microscopy. I was training in phlebotomy. And I became a specialist in blood. That's one of the things that I do in my protocol. It's called nutritional microscopy. And I analyze a simple prick in the finger, a simple drop of blood in a microscope. And with that picture, we get a lot of information. And then we start, let's say, the protocol with raw foods and other stuff we will talk here.
Excellent. And what's great about your experience, and I can claim kind of the same results as you, only because I lived in so many different countries. But you've done so many different things that, you now have a perspective that most people don't have. And this is, I think, a great asset for you as a health coach, and then also for your clients, is because you've got this broad perspective in all things. And just talking to you yesterday, I learned so many new things that, I realized that most of us never really think about. And I like this concept that you have that blood is really an organ. It should be considered an organ. And honestly, I think that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, we spoke about this. The last 2 years, I've been in contact with the Tony Robbins crowd, many friends that you also know, right? And I was invited because of the work I was doing there to go to Harvard last year. And I did a conference in Harvard with other therapists and people that were also following holistic and mental and mind therapies. And I started at Harvard with an audience full of medical professors, medical students, other people. I started with my presentation, telling them my story, the thing I told you, and then I started with the blood health. I said, I'm not a medical doctor, but this is an opinion that I think makes sense. I think blood is an organ. It's a forgotten organ that flows, that goes to places in your body, rebuilds you, regenerates you, brings oxygen to the brain, brings nutrients, remove inflammation. And my experience all these 20 years was seeing people with really health challenges, chronic diseases. And you can change the blood fast, Bert. You can really change the blood, the quality of red blood cells, the quality of your immune system. I can see in the microscope the full range of white blood cells, their activity, the way they are working. Basophils are white blood cells that are connected with allergies. So you can check in the moment what's happening. So it's like a qualitative picture of your blood that was flowing in you, and then we see it on the microscope. So I was seeing people literally dying with cancer on a clinic in California. And after 3 days or 4 days of detoxing, cleansing, eating rich chlorophyll foods, blood cells were coming back to life, like really full of oxygen, perfect red blood cells. So that's why I told them, okay, I think blood is really important to build healthy blood. And that's the core message on my protocol. And then the rest is really integrative. It's holistic. Everything must it's like I said, if you are a vegan, doesn't mean you are healthy, because if your stress is high, if you don't exercise, so you need to approach it from several aspects,
I think it's important to appreciate this concept, and it's a concept I learned through this coach training, and actually learned this through Steve Linder from Strategic Brain, and he mentioned to me once, if you judge people, right, then you close out the opportunity to see what's great about that person. And it's the same thing with how we approach our own health. If you're closed out, if you're so strict in one way or another, you really close out the greatness of all the other things that are available to you in life. And so being strictly a vegan actually really doesn't make any sense, because there are so many animals out there that are definitely, eat meat, they eat grass, all these different things. And so it's important for us, like you said, to have a balanced approach to all the things that we do. And we've always talked about it, and Zen masters talk about it. It's all about balance. But the key thing that I think oftentimes that people forget about is they're not paying attention to how their body's responding to whatever it is that they're doing. It's no different than, communication is a feedback that we get. And anybody listening into that, just think about that for a moment. When you communicate something to someone and you don't get the response that you get, then evidently you didn't communicate what you wanted to communicate. And so it's the same thing with your body. Whatever it is that you're doing or not doing, right? If you're aware of that, then you can fine tune it. But the area that so many people forget, and this is why I'm very excited to be talking to you today, is the whole detoxification process. The detoxification process. People know about detox and they think, okay, well, let me do a cleanse for about a week and I'll be fine. So share with us, the 4 elements of detoxification, because that is so important for people to know and then incorporate effectively in their lives.
Yeah, I agree totally with you. It's really, again, and like we spoke yesterday, everybody's different. There are people who can be vegans for life and they are super healthy, but there are others who cannot be. And I'm one of them. I was like for 3 years, super strict, doing the alkaline diet, which I still follow, by the way, the alkaline diet, choosing foods that are not acidic. But I go to the gym and I'm like 3 hours sometimes there doing weightlifting, swimming. I need some kind of animal protein sometimes. I try to avoid them because I know the effect they cause in your bowels. But detoxing is really something that is very popular now, cleansing. And it's because we have 4 channels of elimination. And when you open those 4 channels of elimination, your body starts breathing, let's say, starts, allowing them to heal, allowing our cells to receive nutrients. And those 4 channels, the first one, it's urination. Through the urine, you should eliminate most of your toxicity also. And the problem is that what I see is that most people that I see, they are totally dehydrated, totally. And I don't know if you know that book from Dr. Batman Galidi. I call him Dr. Batman. He wrote the book, Your Body Many Cries for Water. And he said, it's really true, people are not sick, they are dehydrated. And he showed us the percentage of water in your body. The brain is around 85% of water. Your blood is 92% of water. So we need to hydrate well, at least 3 liters of water per day, at least, in my opinion. So the body can be cleansed and you can eliminate, what's the result of the cells and the function of your organs through urine. So that's the first one. And it's really important. Drink the right type of waters. I prefer spring waters with the minerals, the energy. But of course, there are a lot of stuff out there in terms of devices that can help the water become, let's say, almost perfect. The second one is the lungs. So you should eliminate also toxicity to your breathing. That's why exercise, yoga, deep breathing, it's so important. So you are cleansing all your lung area through your breathing. It's not only avoiding stress and calming down, it's also eliminating toxicity. The third step is your bowels, eliminate defecation. And most people also that I see, especially women, they are severely constipated. Because, with all this toxicity that we live, processed food, pollution, the microbiome, the bacteria that live in our gut is severely affected. And people don't eliminate through their feces, So we need to start that. We need to eliminate. And there are a lot of stuff out there that I really like. I don't know if you heard about colon hydrotherapy, colonics. It's also a trend because it's cleaning the bowels from all this toxicity. But the real good therapists of the colon therapists, they use infusions. They use chlorophyll. They use mineral salts, so the portal vein can absorb all these minerals and nutrients. And finally, the last channel of elimination. So we spoke about urination, respiration, defecation, and the final one is sweating to your skin. So the skin is our largest organ. And again, I ask people, do you sweat? Do you sweat regularly? Yeah, when I go to the gym, sometimes I sweat a little. But the type of sweat we are talking about is the type that you sweat in saunas, and specifically in infrared saunas that have a lower temperature. And the infrared rays, they go to your bones and they really eliminate toxicity. And people who know what I'm saying, after 5 minutes you are totally sweating, and you stay 30 minutes like on a sweating zone that really balances your mind, your stress levels. So these are, let's say, in a nutshell, the things that I think are important in terms of elimination.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And obviously, the manual lymphatic drainage is a key thing. And as a surgeon, I utilize that frequently, and my patients just simply do a lot better because of that. And just to recap on the manual lymphatic drainage for those who are listening in or just joining in now, it's interesting because as we develop as human beings in the uterus, as a fetus, the first circulation system is actually the lymphatic system. So the primitive circulatory system is the lymphatic system. And so then you have the arteries and veins that developed afterwards. And so you're absolutely right, is that the lymphatic system is the garbage system. It's a garbage collection system that the veins can't eliminate. And so with all the toxins that we ingest, with all the environmental toxins that we get exposed to, and then the toxins that most people forget about is the ones we create ourselves internally, stress for one, but also through metabolism. The lymphatic system has to collect those. And sometimes when that isn't done effectively, people can actually gain weight just to kind of cushion the effects of all those toxins. So in essence, all the fat layers kind of protect you from that, but it's the wrong thing to do. In addition to that, what's critical is obviously having enough water so that all those systems work. But it's so important, and I appreciate the conferences and the lectures and the teachings and the coaching that you do, is to really help people and on this platform in particular understand that it's not just about what you eat, and it's not just about the exercise, it's how you really get rid of everything. So my next question for you is, you were talking about super herbs and special nutritional approaches. Did you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I love that part. That's another part of my protocol. Just going a little back to the lymphatic system, even I was in New York doing, let's say, lymphatic massage, and suddenly there was a buzz that was a Portuguese that was the best massage therapist in the world. It was not that, because people didn't know that this massage was as effective, losing water retention, fat, because the membrane of a lymphatic vein, it's permeable. It accepts fat, So when you are doing a massage like this, people have to run to the bathroom to eliminate, It's as powerful as that. So it's good for people that are feeling, let's say, a lot of weight in their legs, but it's also very, very good for someone with a chronic disease. Regarding the super herbs and superfoods, I like a lot David Wolf. I've been following, and I have also a training with him on raw food. My objective as a therapist, as an health coach, is to learn as much as I can from all the medicines out there that have been sometimes for more than 5,000 years. They have something there that we need to use. And trying to get the best therapies now, like stem cell therapies that you are doing, which I think is the future, to reverse or to help people quickly address an issue that they have, a chronic problem. But if you use something from the Chinese medicine, or something from the Ayurvedic medicine, or something from the Amazon, or something from Native American, it's very powerful to know the blending of all those herbs and superfoods for a specific type of people, a specific type of person, So that's the thing, you need to address the blood and then see what they need in terms of super herbs and superfoods. And we have amazing things, For example, one of the best things I know in America it's not called that. It's Siberian ginseng from Russia. Mm-hmm. It's so good. But I think it's much better than the Asian ginsengs, because I think, in my opinion, it's the best for the adrenals. It's the best for your energy, for your balance of your mind. It's an adaptogen, adapts to you. So if someone is stressed, it calms them down. Someone is tired, it puts them up. So Siberian ginseng, which is called Eleuteris in America, I think, Eleuteris. It's something that I use a lot. I use maca from the South America, Maca with cat's claw, which is a vine from the Amazonians, avoids inflammation in the joints, So you need, and again, Bart, that's another thing important. You need to really find best sources out there for this type of supplements, because there are, I don't know, hundreds of these type of supplements, but there are probably 3, 4, or 5 real suppliers that address the problem of pollution, of chemicals, and they grow it above on 4,000 meters, in the mountains. So it's really important to find the best suppliers out there.
What I like to do, actually, if that's all right with you, I create infographics after these interviews, And so if you can give me a list of, say, 4 or 5 products and their sources, I'll include those so that people can start looking at it. Because that's been my problem. And I'm one of those people that if I'm not absolutely certain about something, then I'm just going to drop it. And the challenge today, and also the reason for this platform, is that there's so much information out there that you just don't know if it's valid, and if you can trust it. And then oftentimes, most of us, I mean, excluding you, of course, we're not educated enough to really understand the nuances because we haven't spent the time like you have to really discover and experiment and those kinds of things. And then, unfortunately, what happens is that you spend all this money taking these products and then do absolutely nothing. And so that's a major challenge. And so for me, what's important and why I have this platform is to interview the experts like yourself that really know the right thing. And then people can get that information, get access, and actually then change their lives. So I really appreciate that. I did have a question about the ginseng, though. Ginseng is that I understand that the United States cultivates quite a bit of it and actually exports to China, right?
American ginseng, yeah. It's also they have different capacities. The Asian ginseng, it's more hot, you know, in the winter time. The American ginseng is a more cool. I think it's very close to the Siberian ginseng. Okay. So it's also good. I prefer American and Siberian ginseng. And by the way, I have a brand. It's still under development. It's called Aeternon, which is the Latin word for eternity. So I have all these supplements from all over the world. I'm not sourcing them. I have a monk, a Buddhist monk, and you know, Buddhists, they have something wonderful. They try not to harm others, and they always look for the best in people, the best. And this guy is like a I don't know, it's like a Zen master. So he's searching things in Brazil, searching things in Siberia. And like you said, you know, sometimes when you take a supplement, like, for example, spirulina, you know, if you take the real spirulina, Incan spirulina from Peru that were grown in a non-moldy area, you feel the benefit almost immediately. After 1 week, your blood, your chlorophyll, your protein intake is really amazing. So
I think I'm going to schedule myself a private session with you and get some, because here's what's interesting about another problem that I have, and I'm sure other people are like that as well, is that I don't respond very well to many of these supplements out there, and they just simply have an adverse effect on me, and I stop using them. And so for the most part, I don't take supplements these days because they don't feel right. And so, again, it's a matter of finding someone like you. And so if somebody wants to find you, if somebody wants to hire you as a coach, how do they find you, Paolo?
So normally I travel all over the place. I do again, conferences and consultations. I'm working also with some hotel groups because I also do corporate coaching. We can talk about it also. But my main coaching is now on Skype, face-to-face, you know, learning the medical history, learning what the person is facing, and then addressing and then giving this person a personalized protocol. And later when we meet, we check the blood and see what's happening. That's the main thing. Because sometimes face-to-face, on a private session, it's really and you can be in China and another person in Antarctica, and you can be helping someone even with essential oils, which is something that I use also, trying to recover from a problem that they are facing right now, right?
Yeah, I know with technology these days for sure, and that's why I'm doing this, and I didn't do this before, because it's so easy just to communicate, and nothing replaces face-to-face in person. But this is a phenomenal alternative. And specifically, can they email you, reach you through Facebook, website? What's the best way to contact you?
I'm on Facebook, right? I'm also on Skype, and my site, I don't know, I think we can post it later, right? The site and my email. So I'm always, and like I said, Bart, I think you are like me, you know. If you are a therapist, you are 24 hours on call. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I have clients all over the world, and it's common at 3 a.m. to be waking up. And my wife, I need to start moving some, like 2 days of the week out of my bedroom, because I'm constantly being awake, and I don't mind, you know, because I have my free time. And, you know, you need to be on call. You need to be available to people. And this is very important, in my opinion, because people sometimes are so desperate that they want an immediate response, you know. And I try to do that. I try. Many times I cannot do it because even internet is not available, you know, sometimes. But that's my main mission, you know.
Well, I'm very excited to have been talking to you today. You know, we have so many similar perspectives and ambitions and missions in life. And the last thing I want to wrap up with you is the fact that you do charity work in Uganda specifically. And so your heart is absolutely in the right place. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, you are the kind of people that we want to find and get the help, because we know that your heart's in the right place. So, Paolo, I really want to thank you for today. I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation, real people, real conversations, real success, bringing to you the talents from all over the world, the new voices and the new solutions that can actually change your life. It's really all about what you don't know that you don't know. That's going to make a very, very difference. And what I like about this platform, these are authentic conversations, nothing scripted, nothing's, you know, scheduled. It's really about the beliefs and the talents and the authenticity of the speakers that you can resonate with. So on that note, Paolo, I'd like to give you the last word for today. Any special comments that you like to have, that I'd like people to know?
Again, I would like to thank you, Bart. For me, it's really like finding someone that probably we met each other on previous lives, right? But you know, I believe that health is also in your mind and in your compassion for the others, and we spoke about this. So when you have this type of opportunity to help others, and we have, because we are dealing with people's health, you know. But also at another level, it's something that you should seek for, you know, trying to be an example and trying to be out there doing your little work. And it's not most of the time it's not visible, you know, the things that you do to help others. You are not saying that you are helping this or that, even an animal, you know. It has a very strong effect in your path in this life. So thank you again, and it was an honor.
Thank you so much.
Bye.